Ready to get stronger bones for independence and enhanced mobility? Well, you've come to the right channel. We're going to work on our strength again today. We're going to progress again. We're going to work on our exercises standing. You can stay seated if you must. Gina will stay in a chair so you can follow right along with her. If you want to stand, follow right along with the rest of us. So gang, let's come up to standing. Let's get warmed up. We're going to start right in with a nice standing or seated posture. So let's plant our feet so they're about hip to shoulder width apart. Let's work our way up to our knees so they're soft. We're going to next work into the spine, and in fact, I want you to put a string in the top of your head and stick it to the ceiling and let that string pull you up tall. Let's wrap our shoulders back and down and bring these ears so they're backed up right over our shoulders. Great. Feel what this tall posture feels like. It may feel a little bit uncomfortable at first, but the more you practice it, the more comfortable it will become. Let's add some movement with this posture. Now go ahead and look over your shoulder to the right, nice and easy. And now let's come back to center and then look to the left. And come back to center. Let's do that again. Once more on each side, looking right and center. And then look to the left and come back to center. Staying with the neck, a little change, so this time bring your right ear to your right shoulder and come back up to center. Let's bring left ear to left shoulder and now come back up to center. Let's do that once more. You can make this motion large or you can make it small as long as it's pain-free. Let's come back up one more time to the left. Fantastic. Right back to center. Let's move into the shoulders. Go ahead and lift them up to the ears and lower them down. We're lifting and lowering. So we're starting with a nice gradual warm-up to actually warm up our body, warm up our joints, and warm up the muscles in order to prepare the body, to prepare the joints and muscles for a little bit more strenuous activity. Good. Let's do one more. And now rest these arms back down. Little change of direction here. So go ahead and roll your shoulders forward and now roll them back. And then rolling forward and rolling back. So watch my knuckles. The knuckles come forward as we roll forward. Now the palms open as we roll back. Again, check to see that this is pain-free. This should feel good, this warm up. Let's do one more. Bringing the knuckles together and then opening palms to the back. Let's bring our arms back down to our sides, turning the palms so they're facing up. I'd like for you to bend your elbows, bringing the palms up to the shoulders, and then extend the arms back down. And bend and extend. Great. Let's add some breathing. So exhale as you bend these elbows, inhale as you extend. Create a nice flow of breath. That oxygen moving through the body. Let's do one more complete one. Now this time I want you to bring your arms back up or your hands up, turn your palms around, and let's lift up, little tiny lift. Little lift towards the sky, staying small, making sure this works for your shoulders. If you have a shoulder injury, shoulder impingement, always keep these things low, below shoulder level. If you want to come up a little larger with this move, you can. In fact, let's do just one more. And now bring the arms back down. Go ahead and shake out the shoulders. Let's move just into the shoulder blades. So I want you to bring your shoulder blades and squeeze them back and down, and then release. This is a tiny move. Squeeze back and down and release. So imagine you've got a tennis ball between your shoulder blades, and I want you to squeeze it. Great. Really working on opening through the chest, squeezing through the upper back, enhancing our posture. Let's do one more. Big squeeze, and now release. Now I want you to find a gentle little squeeze. So you've still got the tennis ball between your shoulder blades, so just gently squeeze it. We're gonna move a little bit farther down into the belly. So this time I want you to take your belly and squeeze it tight to your spine. And now release. Squeeze tight and release. That's it. So I've got my hand on my belly, so you can see my hand moving, but my belly's doing the work. My hand is just following along. Squeezing and releasing. Remember, this muscle is help for our spine. It gives us strength to protect our back. So work on strengthening this muscle. It's called the transversus abdominis. Do one more with us. And now release. Let's move a little bit lower. I want you to squeeze the muscles that you're sitting on. So go ahead and squeeze them tight and then relax. And squeeze and relax. Now the only thing that you can see here is that Gina's popping off her chair a little bit, but those of us that are standing, you can't really see anything happening. So the big challenge here as we squeeze these sitting muscles is I want you to make sure your knees stay soft. So try not to hyperextend the knees while you're doing this. Let's do a couple more. Here's our last one. Terrific. Let's move down the legs. A little toe tap here. I want you to tap out your toe. Let's warm up through the ankles, through the lower leg. Still thinking about our posture, of course, so we're standing tall. Now turn this toe tap into a little heel tap. Heel, heel. Feel that stretch change a little bit, opening up to the calf. So you can see whether you're standing or sitting, Gina's sitting, we're all standing, we're doing exactly the same activity. So now change this into a little march. Nice and small, especially if you're sitting. If you have a hip replacement and you're sitting, you really want to keep this move small, keeping the knees below hip level. All right, almost done with our warm-up here, so you should feel your body getting a little bit warmer. We're going to turn this into a little kick, so a little kick out in front of you, little kick, little kick. Great, give me one more on each side. Last one, now plant these feet. Okay, here comes the biggie. Out, out, in. Are you ready? We'll start slow. We're gonna take one foot out, the other foot out, first foot in, second foot in. Out, out, in. Out, out, in. So we're really working on opening up the hips, those joints, the muscles surrounding the hips. But this is also great for our brain. It's a little challenge. Now we add arms. Arms go with the legs. Out, out, in. Out, out, in. Give me one more. There it is. All right, let's bring these arms back down. Excellent work. Okay, so we're warmed up. We feel a little bit warmer. Our joints are ready for bigger movement. So we're going to get our exertubes or our hand weights. So if you have an exertube at home, go ahead and get that now, or even some light hand weights. And if you'd like more information on how to get some equipment, or if you'd like more information on where to find a class in your area, please give me a call. And if you stay tuned till the end of the program, I'll tell you how to reach me. So get a pen and a paper handy. So we've got our exertube, if we're using that, secured under both feet. If you've got hand weights, you're holding onto them loosely in both hands. We're gonna have a loose underhanded grip, and we're gonna start with the front of the arms, the biceps. So let's do a little posture check. Pull up nice and tall again. Remember that string in the top of your head. Soften those knees. We're gonna start with a big breath in. Now as you exhale, let's gently bend the elbows, bringing the knuckles towards the arms, and then extend. We did this in our warm-up. We did this exact same move in our warm-up without the equipment. So I'd like for you to keep your elbows glued to your sides and just feel those big biceps working. Great. Keep breathing. We're going to try for about 12 repetitions, but stop sooner if you need to take a break. So let's inhale on the way back down. Exhale on the way up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Knees are still soft. Try not to lock them up as you stand. Standing tall still, right? That string's pulling us tall. Last two. Here's our last one. Nice work. Let's bring these arms back down, long arms. So this time we're just going to rotate our grip. So our knuckles are now facing front. We're going to roll those shoulder blades back again. Check on your posture. Let's inhale. Now on the exhale, just reach backwards, nice and easy, and then come right back to the thighs. Exhale, reach backwards. Inhale, back to the thighs. That's it. Arms stay long, and the movement is coming from the shoulder joint. Now notice, we're not forcing anything. We're just moving with the resistance and controlling this motion right back down. Always in control. So if you choose to use some weight that's too heavy for you and you aren't able to maintain this control, then you've gone too heavy with the weight. So put it down. Let's do two more. Here's your inhale. Big exhale. and release. Great. Let's take a little break for a stretch. So put your equipment to the side. You can put it on your chair or wherever it's easy to get to. You can sit down for your stretch or stay standing. Bring your palms towards the floor. We're just opening up through the inner arms. So we're going to stretch the muscles that we just worked. Now gently bring your arms behind you. Nice and easy. This should feel good. Stay right here and just breathe. Find a deep flow of breath. Now let's release. We'll stretch the back of the arms now. So bring your right hand to your right shoulder. Left hand goes to the left tricep, and we're going to gently guide this arm up towards the sky. So elbow is pointing straight ahead. Pain-free range. So only go as far as you can without pain. Let's take a big breath. Now as you exhale, let's lower this arm back down. A little shake to that hand. Let's do the same thing to the other side. So left hand to left shoulder. Right hand gives a little boost. Again, elbow is pointing straight ahead. We're aiming for the sky, but it's not important that you go there. If this is as far as you go, then stay right there and breathe. That way you can maintain what you have, and gradually you can increase that flexibility. But if you force it somewhere it doesn't belong, you won't be doing yourself any favors. Take another deep breath with us. And let's exhale and lower this right back down to where we started. Let's shake out the shoulders a little bit. All right, let's move on to the legs. So Gina, again, will stay seated. We're going to just turn our chairs sideways so that we can have something to hold on to. So for you at home, I'd like for you to stand next to a sturdy chair or to a wall, something that you can hold on to so you don't lose your balance. Now, we're holding on loosely to the chair, standing sideways. We've got all of our body weight in the leg closest to our support. Now go ahead and soften that support leg, that support knee, and let's pull that string up to the top of our head. See how tall we get when we do that? Let's take a big breath in. On our exhale, we're just going to gently lift the heel up off the floor, bending the knee. You can lift the foot if you'd like, and then lower back down. So we're working on the front of the thigh, where the hip and the thigh connect, actually. Now this exercise is really important. Helps you with things like stepping up over curbs, just regular old walking, keeps you from shuffling, and it's really helpful to keep your balance. So sometimes we think that if we shuffle, we've fallen once, we don't want to fall again, so we start walking with a shuffle. We think we're safer that way. You're actually not. So practice this exercise. Practice strengthening these hip flexor muscles so that you can walk in a safe manner. Here's your last one. Now let's go ahead and plant this foot. Give those legs a shake. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So we're just going to change sides with our chair. Or you may want to turn around if you're using a wall, and I'll talk you through it so you don't have to look at us. We're standing on the leg again, closest to our support with a soft knee. Let's lengthen that spine. Notice how often we have to lengthen our spine. It really likes to sink down. So let's again start with a big breath in. On your exhale, we're just lifting this knee. We're going to bend the knee. We'll bring the heel up. Toes may follow. And let's lower back down. So we've got some variations here. We've got Gina sitting in the chair, keeping her knee pretty low. Now remember, especially if you have a hip replacement, if you choose to stay seated, you really need to keep that thigh stuck to the chair. You can still lift without taking the thigh up. Susan is standing, but she's not lifting her whole foot up off of the floor. She's keeping this motion small to protect her hip, because going larger with this exercise aggravates her hip. So if one of the exercises that we do causes you a problem, you can modify it by making it a little bit smaller, or maybe just do a few less. Here's your last one. Let's plant the foot. Go ahead and shake out the legs. Let's come back to the other side of the chair. I want to give this leg a break, and we're going to do our inner and outer thigh. Another one for a balance. So turn back around. If you were facing the wall and you turn the other way. All right, a little different here. Back on our strong support leg with a soft knee and a tall lifted spine. So if you think, gosh, I keep having to lift that spine, we all are correcting it every single time. Let's take another breath in. Now on our exhale, we're going to gently bend the knee. We're going to rotate the hip so the toes point out to the side, and then we lift, rotate the hip so the toes point straight ahead. Point out to the side, lift, point right back to center. So again, I've got some different variations going on here. Susan is doing this nice and small again to protect her hips. So you can go anywhere in between, keeping the motion nice and small, or you can make the motion a little bit larger. It really depends on what kind of strength you have in your hips, how pain-free you are, and how comfortable this support leg is going to let you be, because this leg's working too. Let's pull up in the spine again. I can tell mine's sinking. I need to check it and pull it up tall, so do that if you need to. Here's our last one. And let's come right back to center. Great. Plant that foot, shake out the legs. Let's switch to the other side one more time. Let's do the same thing on the other leg. And then I'll give you another stretch. All right, here we are, back to this other support leg. Soft knee again, tall spine. Let's take another big breath in. Always starting with the inhale. On the exhale, bending the knee, lifting the heel, rotating, putting the foot down. Lift, rotate, and down. So most important for me and for you is to stay safe. So I point out a lot of safety precautions here. Again, just going in your pain-free range. Now I want you to imagine that you have a flashlight in the front of this support knee, and it's lighting up the front of the room. So I want you to think about what's it going to do when you're rotating out. Is that flashlight lighting up the rest of the room, or is it staying centered? So keep that flashlight centered on the front of the room. Don't twist the other knee. We're almost there. Find your breath. Keep the breath flowing. Here's our last one. That's great. Let's plant this foot, give the legs a shake. Let's have a seat, and we're going to stretch the muscles that we just worked on. Going into our hip flexor stretch. Remember, we worked the hip flexors to keep us walking upstairs, to keep us walking correctly without shuffling. So we are all going to turn to our right. We're going to stay on the edge of the chair. We're holding on to the back of the chair. We've got our left knee dangling off the side, and we're pulling up our spine really tall. So make this comfortable for you. You can point the knee towards the floor, or you can bring it towards you a little bit to keep it pain-free. Now I want you to tuck the tailbone. Keep that spine lifted, and let's take a deep breath. And exhale. Great. Bringing the left foot to the floor. Let's gently come back to center. We're going all the way around to the left, still sitting on the edge of the chair. Hold on to your chair so you don't fall off. Pointing the right knee towards the floor or tipping it forward a little bit. Let's tuck the tailbone. Stay tall in your spine. Another big breath. Deep exhale. Good. Feel those muscles relax as you exhale. Bring the right foot to the floor. Let's come back to center. Let's move into our arms. So again, let's get our equipment. If you're using equipment, get a hold of that. If you'd like to come back up to standing, that's what we'll be doing. And remember, you can stay seated and follow right along. So our exertubes are going right underneath the center of both feet. We're going to work our posture all the way back up again. So feet are still hip to shoulder width. We've got those soft knees. We've lengthened our spine and shrugged those shoulders back and down. We've got a loose overhanded grip. Let's take a big breath. On your exhale, just gently lift out to the front. Now inhale and lower back down. Exhale, lifting up. Inhale, back down. So make sure that you're leading with the knuckles. Knuckles are going first. Wrists are in a straight line, reaching forward. Arms are straight here. All the movement is coming from our shoulders. And we're just going up to feel the resistance and then lowering it right back down. So notice none of us are forcing anything. We're not pulling crazily on these exertubes. We're not compromising our posture or our form. We're doing what we can control in a safe manner. Here's your exhale. Inhale back down. Let's do two more. Big exhale. Inhale. Last one. Great. Arms come back down. We're going right into a lateral raise. So we're going to rotate the knuckles out to the sides. Shrug those shoulders back again. Arms are coming out like wings this time. So let's take a big breath in. On the exhale, this time reaching out to the sides. Now lower back down. Exhaling out, Inhaling down. Knees are still soft. Breath is flowing. Spine is tall. In my regular classes, people will tell me, gosh, you have us think about so many things, I can't think of anything else. Well, that's kind of the point, one of the points. It makes this very mindful, very healthy for your brain. If your brain's not always thinking about all the other stressors going on in your life, then it gets to relax when you're thinking about your body and what you're doing. But not only that, you're getting more for your time. If you're really focusing in on all of the things that we're doing, you're getting more for your time. It's kind of multitasking. Here's your last one, and let's release back down. Let's put our equipment to the side again. Let's do a stretch, and then we'll move into another exercise for our legs. So we'll bring our right hand to our left shoulder. Left hand comes to the right tricep, not the elbow, but the tricep. Great. We're going to stretch this portion of the shoulder. So gently, what we're going to do is we're going to gently guide this arm over the shoulder, pain-free, of course. Let's take a deep breath. And then exhale to lower back down. Let's do the same thing to the other side. Left hand to right shoulder, right hand to left tricep. And again, gently guiding the arm over the shoulder, pain-free. Don't force it if it doesn't belong there. I have some people that need to be way out here, way out in front. They aren't able to pull that in real tight, so don't force it. Another big breath. And let's exhale and release back down. Go ahead and shake out the shoulders. Lynn, you're really flexible. You got some nice shoulder flexibility. We're going to come into our seated position and work on our sit to stand, all about the legs. So let's come down to sitting. We're going to use those sitting muscles that we warmed up earlier, and we're going to use a lot of leg strength. So remember, the muscles that we're sitting on are part of our legs. So the next time you hear somebody say lift with your legs, that's what they're talking about. So let's start with a big breath in. On the exhale, I want you to push into these feet and work your way up to standing. And now let's release back down. Exhale, push into the feet, work up to standing, and lower back down. So here's what I'd like for you to do. I want you to check on your knees. Do you feel a whole lot of pressure in your knees, a whole lot of force in your knees? Well, if you do, I don't want you to feel that. So let's change things around. So as you come up, squeeze those sitting muscles, squeeze tight, and now release them to sit back down. We're lifting with our legs, aren't we? Squeeze those sitting muscles, release them to come back down. Notice if you feel a difference. So if you aren't able to come up from that chair all the way yet, you keep doing these moves. You keep pushing through the feet and squeezing the sitting muscles, and eventually you'll come up off that chair. It may be a little ways, maybe halfway. We've got 2 more to go. This is a big one. Really gets you hot. Gets those big muscles working. Here's our last one. Great job. Let's release back down. That one makes us hot, doesn't it? Okay, we've got another good one, another big one, but a good one. It's our seated 2-armed row, all about our posture. So we're going to get our equipment again. Hand weights or Exertube, whichever you have handy, and if you don't have any of them handy, just use your arms, so you don't need equipment. If you have Exertubes, you're going to trade hands with your handles, so you've got an X in front of your shins. If you don't have an Exertube, you're just going to hold the weights right in front of you. Now I'd like to pull up tall in your spine. Let's again lengthen. Let's gently shrug those shoulders back and down, so we have a tiny little squeeze on our tennis ball. Go ahead and take a breath in. Now on your exhale, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Inhale and release. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale and release. Remember this one, it looks like our arms are doing all the work, but really it's the upper back, it's those shoulder blades, all those muscles in the upper back are doing the bulk of the work. The arms are just following. So think about squeezing the tennis ball really tight. We're pointing our elbows towards the back of the room so they're not splaying out to the sides. Big squeeze. Opening the posture. 3 to go. You're almost there. Stay tall in that spine. Big exhale for the last one. Exhale. and release. Let's go ahead and put this to the side again. Let's do one more for the calves and the shins. So go ahead and plant those feet firmly on the floor. Let's go ahead and roll up onto the toes, lifting the heels, and now roll down. This time lift the toes. Roll through, lifting the heels, and back to lift the toes. And again, heels and toes. So as you're rolling through and lifting the heels, really push into the floor. Feel those calves work. And later, as we progress, we'll do the standing if you choose. We're still breathing. Exhale. Inhale. Do you notice you hold your breath a lot? That's one of the #1 questions I get is, I can't do that breathing just like you. Don't worry about it. Just breathe and it will come. Here's your last 2. And last one. You did it again. We worked through all the strength. Now we're going to take a nice break and just stretch and wrap this whole thing up. You've done great. Let's go ahead and dangle our arms at our sides. Let's go ahead and actually bring our arms around behind us, just holding onto your chair or lacing your fingers behind you to open up that posture. Take a big breath into the lungs. And exhale and let that go. Let's release the arms, this time bringing both arms out to the front. Lace your fingers, pull your shoulder blades apart. Gently lower your chin to your chest. Let the shoulder blades open. Stretch those muscles we've been squeezing this whole time. Big breath. And then exhale and release the arms. Let's come back up, sitting tall. Let's come towards the end of our chair. Let's bring our right heel to the floor, leg is straight, and we're sitting tall. We're going to stretch through this right hamstring. So stay right here if you have a hip replacement or if you already feel a stretch, or if you want a little bit more of a stretch, it's a hinge at the hip. So we're gently, slowly lowering the torso towards the thigh. Now let's come back up. Let's bring this leg in. Go ahead and bring the left heel out. Leg is straight, sitting tall, sitting upright with the hip replacement, or gently coming forward. We go slow. Make sure that works for your leg. Take another big breath in. And exhale, and let's gently hinge back up, sitting nice and tall, walking the foot in. Let's come back into our chair. You've done a great job. You did it again. You're a little bit stronger than you were yesterday. A little bit stronger, a little bit more flexible. So I can't wait to work with you again. Call me, 743-5300. I'll give you more information on classes in this program. Thank you for joining.